So let's discuss Destiny 2. I've compiled a list of 10 important kind of topics that I feel like need to change before Destiny 2 launches. Keeping in mind that this is most likely an outdated build as normal for a beta, that this could have easily been 3 to 6 months behind. Many of these things that I may address in this video could have already been fixed before we even played the beta itself. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Probably not though, but maybe. And despite popular belief, betas are not there for the public just to try the game out. It's not a trial, it's a beta. The goal of a beta is for you to test the game, experience the game, diagnose flaws, bugs, and errors, and in fact, share those with the world, possibly in video form for the YouTube monies, JK demonetized. So, without further ado, and in no particular order, let's start with number 1 on my list, and this is just redoing the Hunter ability from the ground up. Please, Lord Jesus, make this a thing. The Titan's got a standalone shield that you can deploy, especially for comp. Very valuable, good crowd control, absorbs damage, buys you time, and naturally, if you go through it, it hurts. It makes the owies, and that's going to really zone people out in competitive matches. It's going to be pretty effective for absorption as well in PvE. It's reasonable for both. And then, of course, the healing well. For the Warlock, easily the best out of all of them. The sustain is going to be real for PvP. The sustain is going to be real for PvE. It's great in every area. Then we have the Hunters, who can kind of flip roll. And it reloads the gun. It can do that, but it pretty much can only be used offensively and has almost zero value. My point is, it's super underwhelming compared to the other two, which are very functional in both PvP and PvE, and naturally, they're good for the entire team. And if you are going to create a more selfish role, that's fine, that's cool. Just make sure it actually matters in some way, kind of even a little bit. So maybe make a decoy, like if I dodge to the left, it'll actually send somebody else to the right. It may save my ass. Maybe increased movement speed, that could be somewhat useful in PvP and PvE. Maybe 50% movement speed for 3 seconds. After I pop one of those, that'll help me use it more defensively, as if it was like an old Shade Step or something. I don't know. Hey, those are my ideas. So number 2 on the list, we're going to go ahead and start talking about the connection-based matchmaking in the quick play. Now, they have mentioned since the console beta that quick play is going to have more weight behind connection-based matchmaking. That also means skill-based matchmaking is still there. We don't know if it's 20/80, what kind of percentage, or how exactly this is going to influence the decisions, but it's supposed to be a little better. We've also heard this promise many times before, and it really didn't fix anything, so I'm not going to hold my breath. Oh, and a big one for me, oh, this is a whopper. There needs to be a leaver penalty or some sort of consequences for people that leave matches, or major incentives for people to stay in them, at least in quick play. Some sort of reward and reason that you're thinking, oh man, I'm just going to leave, I'm tired of this, it's team shit. But wait, never mind, I want that loot. There's got to be something there, because in this game, it's even more important to have teamwork and communication and flow, that if you're left in a 3v4, that 3-piece is going to get punished. I mean, just deep-dicked hard. And I absolutely hated it because it was so common. I felt like every game I got into in the beta, somebody left, and whoever left, that a team was abandoned and just completely pushed on 24/7 because the team shooting was so destructive. Alright, scooting over to number D. Basically, there needs to be some proper decision in the matchmaking scheme of things with group queue versus solo queue. I don't know if they need to make a solo-only, like, control a couple of the more popular playlists so people can go in there without being punished. But this game is so much about team shooting and teamwork that if you go into solo and you are matched against groups of 2, 3, or 4, you are going to get ruined. Just simply because they are pre-made, and that is so ridiculous in this game. There were so many times I was playing and I was put up against a bunch of sweaty teams, like complete 4-man groups of these streamers, and I'm like, wait, I'm by myself. What? And it was a little overwhelming, not gonna lie. So I feel like there needs to be some reevaluation in the way they determine how people are matched against each other in terms of group, duo, you know, triples, quads, whatever. Do this, please. My anus thanks you. Let's go. Number 5. So, this one isn't too big of a deal to me, but I feel like they need to slightly increase nade regeneration. I feel like I was only getting a nade once every, like, 3 lives or so, and that felt a little slow, but we also don't want it to be like how it was before, where it was extremely spammable, and it was a little ridiculous. I feel like they're really good at helping you fight 2v1s and maybe stay alive in really, really rough situations, and of course the zoning advantages of them, but I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a happy medium between how it was in Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, so just a slight increase in the regeneration of nades would make me a happy camper. Number 6 on the list is, of course, the game type separation. And this is something that I've often never understood why they do this, maybe just to kind of control the population and what is relevant at the time. But they would always separate their game types into this and that. So you may go weeks without seeing Supremacy or Control or Clash or, you know, insert whatever game type it is. You would only have a few of them available at your disposal, which didn't give you a lot of variety or options. And more importantly, now that competitive is split from quick play, am I going to be able to play Countdown and Quick Play to practice or maybe experience the game type in a non-sweaty environment, or is it always just going to be extremely competitive? It's something I feel like the game could benefit from. I feel like there needs to be the same game types in the casual queue as there are in competitive, or at least the competitive ones in the casual. And that is my firm belief on the topic. Moving over to number 7 is they need to balance the power weapons, and this one's probably already been fixed, and they just haven't mentioned it yet, but the fusion rifle, oh god. If you didn't know, there were other ones besides the fusion rifle, but it was just completely... It was bad. Like, there's no nice way to say this. You fucked up, AA Ron. It was bad. And the fusion rifle was not only, like, king of the power weapons, but if you look at the shotgun, which wasn't as reliable in one shot, and you had to be a little closer for it, okay, a lot closer for it, it still only had 4 shots compared to 6. What are you doing? What are you thinking here? So, they really need to kind of go over this one more time and make sure that each of them have a function. Next on our list, we have quicker health regeneration. So what I'm talking about is when health actually does start to regenerate, I want it to happen faster. Not necessarily the time of vulnerability after a gunfight where you're left there with like a fraction of your health and it's like 5 seconds till it even starts coming back. Not that phase. The phase when it actually starts building back up to full health. That I think just needs to happen faster. And I always felt that in the flow of things, that I would get in a gunfight, I'd kill a guy and basically had to run away because there was such a long period of time not only for the regeneration to start, but for it to complete as well. And I feel like one of those two needs to be attacked in a way that I can get back into the fight without completely having to run all the way back to my spawn until it's safe to come out again. That just, it made things slow. I didn't like it. So now we've made it to the controversial portion of today's commentary. I feel like they maybe need to tweak a little bit of the flinch on hand cannons because it's a high recoil weapon and it's also pretty rough to manage when you're being shot at the same time, and generally in gunfights that tends to happen 100% of the time. So keeping that in mind, slightly tweaked. Now I am, here's where the hate comes, okay with the flinch on snipers, and I love sniping, guys. Do not, please, don't hurt me. I love sniping, but this is not the same Destiny. This plays more like Halo. It's so much about teamwork and map control now. It's not as chaotic and spammy and casual as Destiny 1. This is now more about teamwork and skill than ever before, and the last thing we want are snipers that work the way they did in D1, because they would be even more dominant in this kind of game than they were in the other one. And we know how strong they were back then. And this is something that I feel like needs to stay. The amount of extreme flinch that is on sniper rifles right now when they get shot needs to stay. Don't ever fix that. It'll suck for competitive. Now last on my list, and this one may be petty, but if you think about it, you're kind of like, yeah, it's kind of annoying. Maybe they should do something about it. And this is collision. Like player collision when I run into a teammate and I just get bumped around all the time. And it happens more now because there's so many of us trying to huddle behind one of the Titan shields, or trying to go for the heavy ammo, or power ammo, excuse me. And the collision gets really annoying. You notice this when you jump and you bounce off a teammate, and it shouldn't be so strong. I feel like if I should be able to huddle next to somebody without being deflected off 10 meters somewhere. And I noticed this more when I was playing on objectives, and it just got really annoying in the beta, and I hope that they just kind of tune this down a little bit. But ladies and gentlemen, you successfully made it this far through my wine fest, and that is an accomplishment. Congratulations. You're amazing. Thank you guys for tuning in, though. If you've made it this far, you don't win anything, but you're cool. I like you. And if you can, leave a like on the video. And subscribe and all that good stuff. And follow the Twitch. We're going to be doing a lot of streaming on Destiny 2. We're going to be knocking out the entire campaign, and that can be found in the description below, doing raids, trials, and all that stuff with you guys. If you're looking for a new home, I can't afford to take you in, but if you want to swing by and just hang out sometimes, there's my Twitch.